Let's start the podcast on that note.
Okay.
Welcome to the Practical Pistol Show. My name is Ben Steger, here to answer your shooting questions. Today, we have familiar face, Mr. Matt Hopkins.
Hi.
Say hello, Matt.
Hi.
Another guy who's been on once, who you'll be seeing more of, Mr. Gaston.
Hello.
Oh, so talk us through your shooting credentials, Gaston, for those who don't remember.
I don't remember my shooter credentials either. 27th place at the USPSA Nationals, maybe.
All right, let's
That's the most
wrong
important.
two stages.
we got to talk about a good match that you shot. You've won the Pan Americans before.
Yes, that was like 3 years ago. You were not there.
That's a little dated. You're right. You're going to be IDPA World Champion in CCP, but we'll talk about that in a different episode.
That's not going to happen, but you can say that until the World Shoot.
Okay, and this guy from Frontsight Training Academy. That's not true.
That's not true.
That's just an ironic shirt that you're wearing there. This is Josh Mate from Canada. So the reason Josh is here is not because he's a good shooter, because I can assure you he's not. I'm getting a lot of hate from people to put on scrub shooters on the show to get sort of their opinion and get their take on stuff. That's about right, Josh, yeah?
Yeah.
And you
that's pretty much it.
And you pestered the shit out of me, too.
Well,
Are you a good guy because you're Canadian or not?
no, we're all assholes.
You are?
Yeah. Living in an igloo for most of the year will do that to you.
Oh, my God. Out of control. All right, today we are talking about a thread that got teed up on the forum called Stage Design Cuteness or Sour Gripes. So I'll read the opening post on here from esteemed duty poster Phil Datpuss. This is his screen name. So he said, a stage included 2 clear shot glasses, one full of water and one full of clear lemon juice. At the start signal, pick a shot glass and finish it. Failure to take the shot was a 10-second procedural. I imagine this was not a USPSA match, but yeah, the stage designer was trying to keep it fun, but many were pissed because the inclusion of this randomness. Is this legal due to competitors not all getting the same course? And is this common in other local matches? This was my first time at this club, and they seemed like a good group. ND warned everyone that stage designer works hard for the club, so stop bitching. This isn't really a rant, but not sure where to post because USPSA is cock-blocked by Turtle Talk. This is a bit of an old thread, but yeah, the USPSA forum is fucked up. All right, so having a random element in a stage, I have seen it in USPSA matches. I imagine most of you guys have as well. Hopkins, have you seen a random element in a stage?
Yeah, definitely at the local level. And
What
nothing
was it?
higher than that, though. We shot a stage, all steel stage. You rolled a dice, and whatever dice you had, like they had numbers on the steel, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whatever number you had was considered a no-shoot steel. So basically, we all determined that just knock the dice out, then you just shoot everything and take the no-shoot. It was way faster, way better hit factor.
Yes. Canadian, you've had a random element in a stage, yes?
Yeah. One of the first matches I shot, we had a stage where you flipped over the top card on a deck of cards, and whether it came up red or black is what side of the stage you started on.
What was the penalty structure like then?
There wasn't any penalties, I think, except for one procedural for starting on the wrong side. So didn't really matter, to be honest.
Okay, Gaston, have you ever seen something like this? Gaston.
Just a briefcase. That's all I've got in like 80 years shooting.
A briefcase. Tell me about the briefcase.
We were supposed to hold the briefcase and place it over a table without the briefcase falling from the table. But that was about it.
But there was nothing random about that.
No. But
So
that's the only thing
so
strange that we've had.
You've never seen any of this crazy shit.
No way.
What I've seen is the deck of cards thing, which as I recall, there was like color-coded, two color-coded shooting positions, and then one of those, whichever card you flipped up, like that position would be one that you had to shoot, and then the other one you could ignore, and they'd only score one of them. That's what I've seen. But what's that, Hopkins?
That's way worse than any of the others we've seen.
Yes, I didn't like it.
Because how do you plan that stage?
How do you plan it?
Yeah.
You don't.
You just like you kind of you walk it through both ways, then you flip up the card and you're like, okay, I'll shoot it that way. And you just kind of try and remember what you had to think your way through it. It was an interesting challenge. I didn't really like it. Hopkins, I imagine you thought this was a stupid gimmick, yeah?
The glass sign?
Yeah, any of the random stuff that you've seen, you thought it was dumb.
I think anything that takes away from shooting, and we can go into more on it, but anything that takes away from shooting doesn't. We're there to shoot. We're not there to fucking run 50 yards.
Like to choose which popper to shoot first or that Virginia stuff. Yeah.
What were you saying, Gaston?
I like what he says. We should just shoot, and no standard exercises, no Virginias, no procedures.
Is this where are you wanting to talk about the USPSA nationals?
No. Why are you saying that? Did it seem like that? You want to talk about my 12 pros?
No, I don't. You seem upset about it. Do you want to let it out?
I'm very upset. Yeah.
Okay, so
I want to just put the bargain out. So.
Well, would you like me to tell the story, or do you want to?
Maybe we could talk like 1 minute or two about it, and
yes,
I would
let's
be
do
really.
That, because it detracts from the shooting. So, do you want to tell the story, or do you want me to?
No, please. You tell the story because of the language barrier. Maybe it would get.
Okay. Before I tell this story, I want everybody to understand that in IPSC things are done differently. So, things that we have in USPSA, like very common to have a Virginia count stage, where you're limited in terms of how many rounds you fire, and then there's mandatory reloads and all this sort of stuff. That's something that doesn't exist anymore in IPSC, except for very limited circumstances, right, Josh? Like on a particular type of stage, they can mandate you reload somewhere or something.
In ICS stages, they can mandate where you have to do a mandatory reload. And in short courses of fire, they can mandate a mandatory reload, but it has to be after the first shot and before the last shot.
Right, but they can't. But aside from that, anything you see, you can shoot, and you can shoot at it as much as you want.
Yeah, go nuts.
Yeah, go nuts. So that is the rule in IPSC, and that's what Gaston's. That's the rules he's used to playing by. So at USPSA Nationals, there was a stage that was just a bunch of poppers, and it was kind of the stage description said you shoot this group of poppers, and then mandatory reload, then you engage the other group of poppers. And USPSA shooters didn't try and do anything funny with this. They just shot one group of poppers, then shot the others. Gaston, being trying to game it a little bit, in fairness, he's like, well, I'll engage this group of poppers, most of them, and then do a reload, and then just shoot all the poppers. And you can imagine he ended up with some procedural penalties. And he's like, oh, fuck me, like, that sucked.
Something like that happened, yeah, that is true.
All right, so then...
That's only one of the Virginians.
Right, okay.
You got 3 more stories to tell.
So then Gaston's like, oh, Jesus, I got to follow the directions, no more stupid procedural penalties. And I'm like, yes, that's a good idea, no more procedural penalties. We're going to help you through this match, Gaston. So then we get to a stage where it's 1 shot on each target, mandatory reload, then 1 shot on each target. Something fucks up. I think you accidentally released your magazine halfway through shooting. Is that right?
Yes, some promiscuous.
Josh, that's passive voice. His mag didn't fall out on its own. I mean, so Gaston draws his gun, bang, bang, magazine falls out, oh shit, he does a reload, bang, 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 and then he thinks, well, I've already done my reload, so I'll just re-engage all the targets, bang, 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 bang. 5 procedural penalties, 0 the stage. And it's like, Jesus, man, this is... Then it's like, all right, so we're through all that stuff, there's not going to be any more procedural penalties, or so we thought. We got to the standard stage. We made sure, guys, it's like, you're going to shoot each target twice, then you're going to reload, then you shoot each target twice. You got
That
8
was the
seconds.
plan, yeah.
That's it. Gaston shot that stage. Everything appeared fine, but when they went down and scored his targets, I don't know how it happened, but you had an extra bullet hole on one of them.
Maybe JJ shot it.
Yeah, I think it might have been JJ. I don't think, but somehow there's an extra hit on one, so it's extra shot, extra hit. What was it? What was the total damage? 10 penalties for the match?
At least, yeah. Proceedings, yeah. But then it seemed like a good idea for me to speed up and try to recover some of the points. So I got
right. Speeding up always.
shoot.
Speeding up after you fucked up the match always works, right?
Yeah, sometimes it does. Not this time.
So I think what you're saying, Gaston, is you really don't like it when there's stuff that's other than the shooting. Yeah.
I would say so. Yes. Yeah.
I don't disagree with that. Josh, did you like any of the random element in that stage that you shot?
To be honest with you, it didn't really bother me at all. But I mean, random elements are fucking stupid.
Do you like listening to all these upper-level shooters bitch about random stuff?
Well, I'm glad to know that even the good guys bitch about something.
It's pretty. That's true. I don't know. Is this against the rules at all? I don't think it is. Hopkins, you probably know better than any of the rest of us.
I think it could be argued if it's not a equivalent challenge for everybody, that it's not within the rules. But
okay, so to go with the thing in the example given in the thread, and I'll put this in the show notes if people want to go read it. But so if it's like one is a shot of lemon juice and one is a shot of water. If,
yeah, dude, that would be totally unfair. I think if you
right.
get lemon juice, you're gonna be like,
yeah. Let's say one's a shot
crazy.
of let's say one's grape juice and one's apple juice. Would that be okay?
I'd be okay with that. But how do you know which one you get?
I don't fucking know. I'm just like hypothetically. And then why would it make any difference?
Yeah.
Last time I checked, the grape was, purple and apple juice was yellow. So.
Okay, smart guy. Gaston, can we put some of this stuff in your matches?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, you want to do that? What do you think the reaction would be?
Nobody would do that. It sounds very stupid. like you gotta drink the glass and identify the flavor. You're supposed to.
You'd be like, you have to be a juice sommelier, and then you get to the end of the stage, and then you gotta be like, yeah, it was grape, 2011, just some shit.
It sounds more interesting than a Virginia count, but with
Oh my god. All right, guys, we're going to move on to some shooting questions. So, here we go. Love the podcast and watched the latest one and was a bit disappointed. Because if you could do an IPSC version of this discussion, I'm sure you'd agree. Okay, and I should say this guy's, the title for this email was referencing the paper versus plastic, or not paper versus plastic, plastic versus metal discussion that we had. So, none of you guys were on that podcast, but I had a discussion with Gabe White about plastic guns versus metal guns. And basically, as far as for USPSA shooters, we determined there's not really a big advantage either way. Now, for those of you guys that shoot, well, Josh and Gaston are both IPSC shooters. It doesn't really work out quite that way in international rules, which is what this guy's pointing out. He says, maybe in USPSA you can trick out your Glock 34 to match the metal guns, but when there's very little you can do in IPSC, since the Glock does not bring out factory parts that are allowed, and you can't even add some weight, not to mention the Glock 34 is not even allowed in IPSC production. So I'd like to hear the group's thoughts on plastic versus metal from the IPSC perspective. Gaston, what do you think about that? Do you see a lot of striker-fired guns in IPSC production?
Just because of low budget and easy maintenance of the Glock, that's all. And the Glock is all you can see. You will not be seeing any other plastic, and it's like more kind of a beginner gun.
Well, I think.
Remember, you have to have more than 5 pounds trigger pull.
Yes.
Okay. So that's makes the Glock a looser gun. You're probably gonna lose with a Glock.
Yeah, and make it you say it looser or loser?
Loser.
Not losers. Not a winner gun. Sorry, language barrier. My bad.
Josh, that mirrors your experience in Canada, yeah?
We see a lot of M&Ps up here, crap load of Glocks.
Do people win with
17s.
the M&Ps?
No, nobody wins with one of those.
Holy shit.
Is there anybody that's like equivalent skill level? One has a Glock, one has a CZ. Does it matter? You think?
Glock, well, because we can only use the Glock 17s. I think the CZ is going to win. Or for you, Matt, the CZ. Sorry.
Yeah. Flick.
Okay, so the guy pretty much said it all in the email. It's like, yes, IPSC rules, the way they're set up, basically fuck striker-fired guns. I mean, there's no way around it.
Here's my take on it. If there was striker-fired guns, I agree with that.
They get fucked.
Double single-action guns rule in IPSC. There's no way around it.
Just
It
because
could
of
be polymer, it could be steel.
just because of the trigger,
aluminum.
the
The
trigger
trigger
weight.
rule is what ruins it.
Yeah.
Yes, because after the first shot, you can have like half a pound, whatever you like.
Yeah.
But with a striker fire, you're gonna have every shot at more than 5 pounds. So it's very unfair. They were planning to do a modification in the rulebook after Greece. That was 2013, 2011. Yes.
Greece is 2011, yeah.
Okay, so you will remember because you forgot a target, right?
Yes, that was me.
Okay, that's very uncommon of you. I've never seen
Yes,
that
of course.
again. So they were planning to do like a 4 pound first shot and 1 pound mandatory all the other shots. So that would be very nice for the Glocks and other striker fire, but it didn't happen. Probably because of some. I don't know, maybe pressure from the double action sponsors. I wouldn't know. But it was very logical to do that in production.
But it ended up not happening. What do you think, Gaston, when you go to the U.S. Under USPSA rules? I'm not talking about Virginia count stage. I mean with the guns, where you can do a lot more stuff to the gun. Do you like the USPSA rule set better or not?
It's very strange because, for example, it's unfair for foreign guns. I couldn't use my full-size gun because it should be on sale in the United States. So, but if you take USPSA as a U.S. shooting sport, then it's logical. But,
yeah, but
for example,
you had to shoot your 4-inch gun.
Yes, that's right. I had to use a stock gun because it's still, though we made more than 2,000, it's not still available in the United States. It's going to be very soon. But I had to compete against 5. What?
Are you sure that's a requirement? Because
yes, it is.
the Extreme was on the list before there were any in the U.S., I believe.
Yeah, but
Which one?
The stock 2 Extreme.
I don't think it says anything about country that they're available in.
No, it states it has to be available to the general public in the U.S. I'm pretty sure about that.
I think, Hopkins, I think what you're alluding to is some of the manufacturers pay attention to the rules and follow them, and other manufacturers
don't. Okay, that's us.
Didn't FN have a gun on the list before they sold like 2,000 to Hong Kong or something? Didn't a certain somebody win a match with that gun? Come on, you know what I'm talking about.
I don't know.
Tell Gaston what do you mean.
No, I don't know what he means. Sorry.
Yeah, explain it, Josh. Explain it to Gaston.
So a certain FN sponsored shooter may have shot a long slide FNS.
You're so easily baited, Josh.
I know.
Everything you say comes back on me. It's pointless. What I'll say is this: it's not FN. It could be, but it's not like that's the only time that's happened. There's been plenty of times in USPSA history that I've heard rumor of, where I don't know if any of this stuff is true, but I guess where there's this much smoke, there's probably at least a little bit of fire, where some a factory-sponsored guy shows up with some version of a gun that you know is coming down the pipe, but nobody else can get, and that person will shoot that gun. So
well,
that does happen.
IPSC is like that. You don't have any problem. If the gun is between the boundaries, then the gun is approved, no matter if the 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1,000 were made.
Well, that's because
So-
they don't have an approval list. Gas,
Yes, they
I
do.
just looked at it.
Yes, we do.
You have an approved list?
Yep.
For IPSC, yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So what were you looking at, Hopkins?
I looked at the form. It just says 2,000 complete, ready-to-fire firearms, and is available for sale to the public since a certain date. It doesn't say sale in the U.S.
I think that
It doesn't?
rule. I think that rule's been interpreted by NROI to mean for sale in the U.S.
It does, because the paper they sent us, I'm sure it says that you declare they are available to the general public in the United States.
They might have
Otherwise, I
updated
wouldn't
the
have known.
form,
I
but
think.
it's not updated on the website. So
All right.
Maybe
I think.
it's not.
I think part of the blow up with FN kind of triggered. Matt, I triggered some of the guys at USPSA kind of updating that form and maybe interpreting the rule differently, where it's like, yeah, we have 5,000 guns that we sold to Brazil, and it's like, well, what the fuck good does that do USPSA shooters? None. All right, cool.
I
Let's.
don't quite understand the rule about the 2,000 made. It's very difficult to prove, and
it's impossible.
unfair.
It's impossible.
It's unfair for a new gun, because you gotta test the new gun in the sport. We tested a lot the XT when Bursa made it, and I shot several matches, and only me and another 3 or 4 guys had it.
So you're saying the USPSA rules in this case are unenforceable and arbitrary?
No, they are, unenforceable would be a right answer, but I don't think they are arbitrary, because they are the same for all manufacturers, so there's no arbitrary about that.
Well, the number 2,000 is the arbitrary part.
It's quite a big number. The IDPA number is biggest. It's like 20,000, a total of 20,000, which will comply with several guns, or 2,000 a year, but every year. So that's a real production gun.
Oh, so
But-
IDPA has a lock on what real production gun is, yeah?
IDPA and USPSA, yes. They would be real production guns. But it's fair as long as every manufacturer complies, then it's fair.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to another shooting question I got here. At Production Nationals, while watching the Super Squad, I noticed that many were engaging the up-close fast shots first and working their way out to more difficult long shots. This was particularly evident on the last shooting positions for stages 10 and 12. I recall being told that one should start on the far and difficult targets, working your way back to the easy fast targets, because it is easier to speed up as targets get easier than it is to slow down or retain control as the targets get more difficult. This was particularly interesting on stage 12, where the setup on whatever. He's going to get into the specifics of the stage. It doesn't matter if you weren't there. Okay, here's the question. Do the Super Squad guys not know what they should be doing, or have missed something in how to approach these types of arrays? Any discussion by your illustrious panel would be appreciated. So, Gaston, did you catch the question?
Yes, that's because, for example, I try to do the simple stuff. I shoot whatever I see first, and then I complete the other one, because I'm my gun prepped before. For example, I'm going to a window from left to right. I'm going to shoot the right target first, no matter how far it is.
Okay, so that's why you'd be maybe breaking the rule that this guy thinks exists.
If that rule exists, then I'm breaking it, yes. I like to be prepared for the first thing that I see. The first target I see, I'm going to start aiming at it.
All right, Hopkins, what do you think?
I think any the Super Squad shooters, air quotes,
Why is that in quotation marks? Are you
Because the
implying that
dude
the
mentioned
super
our
squad
squad,
is
or the other squad, probably.
talking about the other squad?
Yeah, he didn't mention the B squad, sorry. Knows how to speed up and slow down equally. I don't think that some might have a preference to it, but I don't think that affects them shooting an array at all. It might just be the close shots way easier.
Yeah. Well, what I can say is a lot of times I do a lot of drills, especially like in classes where there's different target difficulties. So there might be there's going to be tougher shots mixed with easier shots, and I make a point of making people do it, easy targets first and the harder stuff, and vice versa. And a lot of people find it easier to go far to near. Like even they can measure a difference where it's like, hey man, I shoot this better far to near. I just do. Or I have a really strong subjective preference to shooting stuff far to near. That's true for a lot of people, but when you start putting it on a stage where, especially if you have to run to a position and set up in it, and then you starting on the far target, that can be really challenging to do, to set up and take accurate shots on a 25-yard target or something like that. That can be really tough to do. So when you add in movement, it tends to change things around, where people then start to prefer starting on the easier stuff as they get sort of set up. That sound about right, Hopkins?
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, if you can set up in a position and take the closest target while you're setting up, you're going to save some time at the end of that array. So it just makes sense to do that.
Josh, you spent plenty of time observing the Super Squad at Nationals, and you were hanging around the B Squad as well. What did you observe? It's like, think about some rules that you've heard, quote unquote rules, about how to shoot stages. Did you see the Super Squad breaking those rules a lot?
The Super Squad, I didn't really watch a whole lot of. I was more hanging out with you B Squad fools. Breaking the rules. I think for the most part, you guys just shot was what was most comfortable for you. So if you were entering a position, you shot what was right in front of you first. The unwritten rules, I don't know. I think it's up in the air as soon as you start running around.
Yeah, I mean,
take what's easiest first, right?
Yeah, the interesting thing about a big match like Nationals was if there was I think there was 30 GMs at Production Nationals, something like that. 40? Shit. There was with that many good shooters there, it was really interesting to watch and see people go at stages, totally differently and end up with, in many cases, very, very similar results. Yeah. I'm still talking to you, Josh.
You never know. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, you guys are all pretty damn close to each other.
No matter how they attack the stage.
Yeah, all within a couple seconds, and I mean, the hits are always there for the most part, so I think no matter how you shoot it, as long as you shoot it the way you're most comfortable, you're good to go.
Yeah. Well, that's a good note to edit on. You other guys, Hopkins, Gaston, you got anything else to say about this?
I think people default back to what they're comfortable with. Maybe not what is best.
Maybe not what's best. That's true.
Or it doesn't matter, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. Gaston, anything?
That's what I said before. Just shoot what I see first. That's all.
Keep it. You have a hard enough time trying to remember shit.
Yes, as long as I don't have to remember shit, I'm okay.
Good time to end it. All right, if you have a shooting question you'd like to send to me, head over to bensteger.com. Email me, send me your question. Hopkins, you can get at hopkinsshooting.com. Gaston, if people want to buy a Bursa, how do they get in touch with you?
They shouldn't get in touch with me. I don't sell any. They should get in touch with the guy from Eagle Imports. That would be like Bursa.com.
Eagle Imports, that's in the U.S.?
Yes, that's www.bursa.com. That's all.
Okay.